my name is Pavle Krstic. I'm a three-time participant of the International Mendelssohn-Academy in Leipzig. And right now I'm in Salzburg, Austria at the Mozarteum University, where I study with Professor Pavle. For this special online edition of the Academy, we've been tasked with presenting our favorite piece of music, which is a difficult task because it's hard to choose one in a sea of repertoire that we have. But for today I've chosen the first Ballad of Chopin because of its undisputed position as a staple in our repertoire. Now, the Ballad has a long history, and it started off as a French song that is supposed to tell a story. So similarly, in an instrumental ballad like this one, we should also hear the narrative character and a progressing storyline. Now, already at the beginning of this piece, we have a recitativo introduction, which has to sound like the beginning of a storytelling. And it's totally ambiguous. It starts with a Neapolitan chord. So it moves over to the dominant and resolves to the tonic. Now, this resolution actually happens one bar after the main theme has already started. So that leads to an intertwining of these sections and not individual sections, which will also be important for its interpretation. And given this harmonic progression that I just mentioned, it would be important to play through until this tonic to have a well-rounded off introduction. So we have the first theme, which is more narrative at the beginning, and the second theme, which is more lyrical. So after the exposition of the two themes, we have a development of them, and then a recapitulation in the sense that the original keys are coming back. However, in contrast to a normal sonata form, here instead of a pure recapitulation, we have actually even further development, especially in the second theme. A theory is that that could have to do with the narrative character and the progression of the storyline.
Hello, my name is Marika Bournaki. I'm a pianist from Montreal, Canada, and right now I'm in my childhood home in Montreal visiting my family. I'm so happy to be talking about my favorite piece today for the Leipzig Academy, and I chose to play Schumann's Arabeske and to choose Schumann's Arabeske as my favorite piece, although choosing a favorite piece was a very hard and difficult question to ask someone, a very mean question actually, because it's impossible to really pick a favorite piece. And actually when I was thinking about it, I thought about what is actually my favorite piece. It's probably a chamber music work or symphonic work. But as a pianist, I decided to just stop thinking and overthinking this decision and just let my gut speak. And the first thing that came to my mind is Schumann's Arabeske. Is actually the first Schumann piece that I learned, and I always loved, from that moment, Schumann's music. I really gravitated toward that language, and that's a piece that's been with me since then, and I keep coming back to it and exploring the music in it, and it's definitely one of my favorite little things ever. There's no moment exactly that I can remember that stands out playing this piece, but I do love playing it as an encore because I read this story about Clara Schumann, and apparently this piece had become kind of one of her favorites, or one of the famous pieces that she played. And when she went on tour, apparently after a recital, people would cheer and ask her to play Arabeske. And so I think about that often, and I like to play it as an encore, and I think about Clara Schumann, who's a pianist and woman that I think is very inspiring. I would definitely say that Schumann is my favorite composer for piano music, definitely for chamber music as well. It's just a language that is so human and poetic, and I love his harmonies and his counterpoint, and just it's a musical language that I adore. If I had to pick a favorite moment, it would probably be the end section. So it's a kind of rondo piece, and it has all these contrasting sections. And the last section is this poetic, very raw moment, like Schumann often has, kind of just a thought, and it's just so powerful.